Hey, I'm John Coley with Lake Martin Voice Realty, and this is my market report for Lake Martin, Alabama for July of 2020. This was a really big month, and so prepare to be really shocked and excited. Here are the sales. I'll go over those first. And I always like to compare sales and always look at inventory at the same time. And by the way, these numbers that I'm getting from the Lake Martin MLS. So these are all brokerages, all agents, all 300 of them for the entire Lake Martin, Alabama area. And I want to compare it to last year. In 2019, through the end of July, our entire market sold 214, that's a 214, 214 home sales through the end of July. This year, in the middle of all this corona panic stuff, we have sold 258. That is a 20% increase from the prior year. So we have gone up 20%. And by the way, 2019 was the best year ever for numbers of homes sold on the lake. So we're 20% up from last year. Pretty shocking. Well, is it because there's so many more houses for sale? No, just the opposite. Honestly, the lack of inventory is more surprising to me than the sales. Last year in 2019, in July, there were 291 waterfront homes for sale. That's homes, condos, everything. 291, and they sold a total of 214. I say right now, at the end of July, there were 166 waterfront homes for sale. So that is a decrease of 43%. So if for those of you four of you that watched in May, that's a difference of 63%. The numbers of homes sold up 20%, numbers of homes for sale down 43%. That is a 63% swing, and I'm calling this the area of agent uncomfortability, because if you come to an agent like me, because I sell there full time, and say, hey, I'd like to look at a home, at the decrease of 63%, it puts us in an awkward position of going, okay, in your price range, in your area, you got one to look at. You want to go see it? And then you call you up and they go, oh, you know what, that one's under contract. How about this other one? So it's pretty shocking that we have a decrease of 43% of inventory from the best year ever, yet we're still selling 20% more homes than that. Now, the crazy thing was that the month of July was even crazier than May, than my last report, because in the month of July, I got to write this in blue because I'm trying to stay consistent, 73 waterfront residences were sold in the month of July on Lake Martin. That is the best month ever. How great was it? Well, the previous high was 55 homes. So we beat, in looking at the month, we beat that by 20-something%, how many ever that is. And by the way, the previous record was July of 19, and it was also June of 20. In June of 20, we tied it, and then in July of 20, we beat it. So it's accurate to say in 2020, we've had two record-setting months back-to-back, July of 73 and June of 55, and we beat 2019. I'm running out of adjectives for 2020. As crazy as it is with the corona stuff and murder hornets and hurricanes and all that kind of crazy stuff, it is even crazier for second home sales at Lake Martin. So another question everybody asks is, well, what are the, oh, by the way, the 5 year average for the month of July. You think, well, you know, July is kind of a hot month. Our 5 year average is 36 home sales in July. So we're beating that by 100%. We've doubled our 5 year average when we sold 73. It's wacky. All right, so what are our percentage of sales for the month? If I can get this sheet separated. All right, so everybody always asks, and it's interesting to look at it. How does that break down by price? All right, so 0 to 99, there were 5 homes sold so far this year, and I'm looking all year long through the end of July. And that's about 2% of the market. 200 to 350, so far through the end of July, there are 52, that's my dog, Jimmy. There are 52 homes sold, and that represents about 20% of the market. 351 to 500, 56 homes, and that's about 22% of the market. And if you tuned in last month, you know I always used to say, hey, 350 to 500, that's kind of the bulk of our market. It's not anymore, because look right here, 500 to 750, 71 residences sold, and that's about 28%. I'm rounding up here, about 28% of our market. 751 to 1 million, 27 residences were sold, that's 10% of our market. $1 million to $1.25 million, interestingly, 19. That's a pretty big chunk. 7% of our market, and everything $1.25 million over. That was 28 homes and 11% of the market. A couple of notes here. I was interested when I was going at and trying to figure all this stuff out. I noticed that in this band here, 200 to 350, 41 of them were condos. So that's about an 80% chance if you're buying below 350, 80% chance it's going to be a condo. Neither here nor there. I'm just commenting and saying, hey, it was interesting to me to see how many condos were in that picture. Now, there are some condos in this band too, and then one or two right here, but most of the condos are going to be right in here, and most of your chances of below 350 is going to be a condo. I think that is one of the corona impacts, is that especially in April, March, April, May, I saw a higher degree of condo sales because people kind of wanted instant gratification. They wanted somewhere right then. They didn't want to have a house to fix up and yard to keep and all that business. Boom, they went on condos. Interestingly enough, what so far through the end of the year has been our top sale? Well, the top sale so far this year was $5 million. That's a five. We had a $5 million sale. It was in the Ridge. No, I was not part of that sale. But two great agents I know were, and congratulations to them. $5 million sale this year. So hopefully that's helpful. Lots. I always like to look at waterfront lots. And the last time we looked at waterfront lots, the interesting thing about 2019 was it was the greatest year ever for home sales. 2019 was not the greatest month or year ever for lot sales. So what is it doing now? Okay, so let's look. In 2019, through the end of July, we as a whole market had sold 31 lots. Where are we now? Well, we have sold so far 50 lots. So it is definitely on an increase of about 61%. So lot sales have taken off this year. Pretty interesting. Well, what about inventory? Is it the same story as homes? Has inventory dove down? Nope. It's almost exactly the same as last year. In 2019, in July, we had 109 waterfront lots for sale. And right now, in July, we have about 110 lots for sale. So about even. And so we can say that the big market shift for lots has been on the demand side. So big, huge increase, 61% of lots, or increase of waterfront lots sold. Was July a big month too? Yes. I was pretty surprised to see that 25 lots were sold in the month of July. And I look back, correct me somebody out there if I'm wrong on this, I looked back just really, really quickly. I couldn't find a single month in the history of Lake Martin that 25 waterfront lots were recorded in the MLS. And so I think that's a record. So it's pretty fair to say that July of 2020 was by far and away a record for lots and far and away a record for home sales. Just out of curiosity, how many waterfront lots were sold in 2019 in the month of July? 3. So I'm just, again, running out of adjectives, but that's really interesting to me. So what that tells me is that even though there are people that like condo buyers that are out there that want something right now, there are also plenty of people that are buying lots and they're looking 8 months to 3 years ahead of time for their Lake Martin homes. Some of them could be looking for investments too, but I'm honestly not seeing a whole lot of investors right now. It's mostly end users. Okay, so percentage of sales for lots, how do they fall out? I kind of broke this down a little bit more because lot prices obviously a little bit lower. 0 to 100, they're about 5, and the math is really easy because there were about 50 lot sales total. The math is easy for me this time. And so that's about 10% of our market. 100 to 200, 10 sales means 20% of the market, just double it. 201 to 300 is 11, that's 22% of our market. 300 to 400 is 18%. 400 to 500, ditto, 18%. 500 to 600 is 3 or 6%. And over 600, another 3 for another 6%. And so if we look back and people ask me, okay, hey, what does an average lot cost at Lake Martin? I used to say $150. This is kind of creeping up to 200 to 300 now because right now at least that's our largest band of about a 22%. But then again, you have a healthy percentages from the 300 to 500 range as well. So I definitely think just like When people ask me, have prices gone up this year in Lake Martin, I say yes. I think they've gone up 10% since February of 2020. I think we can probably say the same thing for lots, because there were some lots that are for sale now that were also for sale in 2019 that are actually selling, and selling, it's in some cases for a little bit higher than they were asking last year. So that's been a really interesting thing to watch. Okay, so what is the top lot sale so far? It's 640,000. Is so far in 2019, that's at the end of July 31, 640,000. Interesting. All right, and then some, all right, and all my little videos here, I try to end up with so what. Going to sound like a broken record here, but we have 2 records in a row. I'm just going to write this. This is where it gets real sloppy. 2 records in a row on the home side. In June of 2020, we had 55 home sales. That tied the record. In July of 2020, we had 73, blew the record out. And so when we're talking about setting records here, like I always think about like, what's the relative scale of this? And I always think about like the Olympics, you know, when they had the 100-meter dash. And you got these guys and gals that are just so fast and they're running. And if they break the record by 1/10 of a second, that's like monumental, because you know they're running it like between 9.5 or 10 seconds or whatever it is, and so half a second is a lot. We just totally blew away the prior record. I mean, everybody gets that right. 73. I can't do the math now in my head, but that's about, you know, like we're talking a 20% record. So whatever business you're in, or whatever, you know, maybe if you're an academician and you're studying for your grades or whatever, and in one year you do 20% better than you did in the prior year, that is huge. That is, it's, I don't know. I don't know. I'm running out of anecdotes. It's blowing me away. All right, what is my other takeaway? Lots. Lots finally caught up with home sales in 2020. I think we can say that with ease. We've been watching lot sales as a market. Again, last 2019 was the lowest lot sales as a market since 2012. Not anymore. 2020, boom, it has caught fire as well, and it's becoming a seller's market as well. And then people always ask me, Corona. I mean, what's the Corona? You know, I'm not here to pontificate about politics or Corona, but I can tell you that at Lake Martin, people are maybe they're afraid of the virus and all this sort of thing. Maybe so. But I am of the belief that, like, you know, if you really want to see what a person thinks and values, you look at their pocketbook, how they spent their money, how they spent their time. People are spending their money and their time in second home markets like Lake Martin. It's happening all over the nation, but especially at Lake Martin. We're breaking huge records. The people, I talked to Kalijah Restaurant, Stacy, the manager at Kalijah Restaurant, she says they've been covered up and busy since March. I talked to the people at all the marinas. They've sold out of all their boats. They've sold out of all their PWCs. It's like those little lily pad rafts things that you float on. They're sold out of those. So maybe America is, you know, bracing for us, you know, whatever. But I'm telling you, at Lake Martin, if it's on a shelf, people are buying it, whether it's at the Dollar General or there's the lily pad at Kalijah Marina and it costs $600. People are buying. Another question that sometimes people ask me is, what about foreclosures? Well, there are no foreclosures. That's like, you know, if I had to do a continuum, like this is the ultimate buyer's market, this is the ultimate seller's market. This is where we are over here. We're beyond, as my dad likes to say, beyond on a seller's market here. And when that happens, you don't see any foreclosures. Foreclosures are an animal that only appears, just like, you know, mold only appears in darkness and when it's greater than 73% humidity. Foreclosures only appear in buyer's markets, because in extreme seller's markets like this, if somebody is in trouble because of their loan or whatever, their neighbor will buy it or their brother will buy it or whatever. We're just not seeing them. And as a matter of fact, we're seeing the opposite. Agents like me are scrambling to get listings. There's a lot of for sale by owners that I'm seeing, frankly, a lot. You know what? Some of them are selling their properties successfully. And if so, great. Kudos to you. You don't need somebody like me. But then again, I'm also seeing some FSBOs that are pricing that are seeing the market go up. And then they're saying, I'm going to price mine in a ridiculous fashion. Or I've seen a couple of FSBOs that honestly have underpriced their stuff. So You know, I'm not going to say you have to have a realtor in extreme seller's markets, but I am saying we do carry some value. Which leads me to the pitch part of this video. I'm John Coley. I sell at Lake Martin 100% of the time. I don't go anywhere else. I'm not smart enough to manage 2 markets, much less 3. So if you need help at Lake Martin, I would love to help you. Just visit me at lakemartinvoice.com, and I'd love to help you out. Thanks.